I would love to hear from you how you push all those tasks from you to the people working for you in the best way possible, without you feeling like you lost control, or without you feeling like there's too much burden on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance, and I'll tell you, part of the challenge is we care, right? Like, so we're really anal about certain details, especially the ones that matter, especially about the ones that produce the results and things like that. Firstly, I just want to say I really like your hiring test of like, go to find me on YouTube, post a comment on my channel to actually test them. I first learned this from one of my mentors. His name's Ken. He's like an OG, amazing guy. And he managed a coaching business and a law firm. He owned both of those. And one of the things Ken used to do is he would write, if you read this job description, write apples on your cover letter and send us that. And part of the reason he did that is because there's a certain percentage of people that just see like a job or an opportunity as another number, just like kind of have this hit and run attitude. I have family members like that, so I'm not pointing any fingers, but they're just looking for a job. They're just looking for any old job where they can just, kind of do the bare minimum to get a paycheck. That's a thing in our society. And one of the things is, I call them resume bombers, but they just like copy and paste and spam their resume around, and somebody will call them back and they'll get a job and they'll get hired and they'll be able to pay their bills. And that's all they're looking to do. And that's totally cool. But you don't want to build a business around those people. You want people who are specifically a good fit for you. So one of the things Ken used to do that was so damn simple to me was, if they didn't write apples on their cover letter, walked over to the garbage and just dropped it. Now, I still use this to this present day. I actually just posted, I need somebody just for like a one-off task so I posted on Fiverr, and I said, I need this one-off task. I'm happy to pay you hourly. If you're open to being paid hourly, write the word hourly to start your reply. Like, if you read this, and you'd be amazed, like 60% of the people do not write the word hourly because they didn't read a damn word of what you said. They just copy and paste their canned response, right? So I know if they've written the word hourly, they've at least read what the job entails, right? And like, they've considered that they actually want to do this specific task. So for me, it's like, I just eliminate 60% of the people. Now, as far as the other thing you kind of talked about, there's different things that can keep delegation stuck. One of those things is the mental barrier to just always wanting to do it yourself, being a perfectionist, wanting it done the right way. Another is, and this is a thing that I think is actually now I consider to be a prerequisite of hiring, which is to have like really detailed instructions. So before I do any task in my agency, we have it set up inside of Asana, which is a project management software. There's lots of good ones. I'm not saying use Asana, like, I just happen to like how Asana is. But inside of Asana, we have like we use Loom videos, and I'll screen record, this is how to do this task, these are the important things, and I will add somebody in Asana as responsible for that and give them only the instructions to be able to execute tasks. And part of the reason is I want to have really clear, detailed instructions where a person can execute a task given only the instructions with zero input from me, because I know my agency is a lot more scalable if they can just watch a video, understand what to do, and go do it. So that's part of it, is having like really good detailed instructions. I didn't know this in the beginning, but when I would hire people, it'd be like, okay, well, get to work. And not only that, this comes up a lot where they like, you give them things to do and then you go work on your own things. And then somewhere they meet you a couple days later and say, I'm finished, boss. What do you want me to do? And you realize, oh shit, I don't have anything for you to do. And you scramble to like delegate tasks to them. So having that set up where you have clear instructions and processes. Also, like, I always have clear instructions and processes for what to do when I have not given you work. Like, for example, like I have a video editing guy. When I don't have videos for you to edit, go through our YouTube channel and just start marking the videos and start bumping up their SEO value, right? Like, just start, putting on some SEO value into those, right? Like, there's things you can do if I haven't given you instructions. The third thing that I see a lot, and this is actually probably the biggest issue that prevents people from delegating, it is understanding the difference between custom and customization. And they sound very similar in the English language, but they are a great deal different in execution. And in the beginning, I did a whole lot of custom work, which meant somebody said, hey, have you ever designed a WordPress website? I would say, yes, I have. I can make you a WordPress website. And I would go self-teach myself WordPress if I needed to and learn whatever plugins. And if they said, hey, have you ever done Google Ads? I would say, yes, I can do Google Ads for you. And then they would say, have you ever run a Facebook ad? Yeah, I'll run a Facebook ad for you. Hey, you guys are doing SEO. Can you help me with this other thing? And what would happen inevitably is I would take on all these other projects. Now, of course, if you're doing a lot of things, they're not like paying you top dollar for those things. So you have small margins. So I was always trying to find like somebody really cheap who could do a good job and delegate that. And it was constantly hard. And what I found is if you do custom work, in my experience, you can manage about 5-10 clients before you start like working like 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And what I found is part of the structure that allows you to scale better. And it's hard because in the beginning, it means less money today, but it means a lot more money tomorrow and a lot more stability in your agency, which is, the age old pick a niche. But I take it even further and say, pick a niche within a niche and then choose what I call the $100 bill in the niche. And I'm not saying this is the only way. There's lots of ways to be successful in this, but this is my favorite way of doing it. So like, for example, if I'm working in the personal injury space, which is the space I actually work in, before I picked a niche that was lawyers. Lawyers is very broad. And when you find out, that means everything from like a guy who just started a law firm in his basement selling little basic documents to his friends and family for $99 to the personal injury lawyer who has 30 locations and has billboards and TV ads in every state. So I look at like almost always people's niches are too broad for scaling. And so one of the things that I did was like, okay, I narrowed it down from lawyer to specifically personal injury lawyer. And I think even a niche within a niche. And what I found is there's a lot of guys who are at the bottom who are broke and struggling. They're good people, but they're not usually good people to build a business around if they're broke and struggling. And so I kind of excluded all those people. So I started working with law firms that are usually between 15 and 20 clients. Those are kind of my favorites, as well as some of the really, really big heavy hitters, because I like that they just have budgets and they make things happen and they do things. And what I found is that's like a niche within a niche, right? Like, so it's like the lawyers in that niche who are on TV. And I'll tell you why this is so important to develop one service is because the way our agency is run now, I start every client 90% finished before I get the client, right? Because we're delivering the same thing over and over. And the difference is that word I mentioned, customization, right? So when I run this marketing campaign for this lawyer, it has their custom colors, their brand, their logos, their images, but we're only changing like 10% of it. I compare it the difference between like if you went to a restaurant and you said, can you make pizza? And they said, yeah. And they said, do you guys do baklava? And you said, okay, I'll make a baklava. And then they said, can you make a traditional English fish and chips? And then you make that. And then they said, do you guys make homemade cakes? And you do that. That's custom, and custom will suck the fucking life out of you. And it's good for 5 or 10 clients, but it does not really scale past that typically in my experience. Customization is like, hey, we're McDonald's. We sell burgers, fries, and Cokes. That when McDonald's first started, that's all they did. Burgers, fries, and Cokes. You can get 3 things. And customization looks like, I don't really like pickles. Could you take the pickles off my burger? Or I'm a big ketchup person. Could you add some extra ketchup? Or can I get that with extra cheese? Sure, you can get that. But at the end of the day, you're given a burger every single time, and it's the same burger over and over. And so a lot of times we think clients want custom solutions, and we derive our value from it. But it comes from switching to that entrepreneurship mentality where you realize what people really want is results. So we just had a guy in our mastermind who I kind of gave him a little aha. So he was doing web design, and like most web designers, selling custom website here, custom website there, and thinking that his value comes from that. And I said to him, I said something along the lines of like, if you had a website that could produce results for people in this niche, do you think they would want you to make it custom for them? Or if you could just like plug and play something you already had working and it could be up in an hour, which one of those do you think would be more desirable for them? And we thought about it for a little bit, and we just kind of compared everything that was involved. And for like a custom website, usually there's a lot of back and forth. Hey, I sent you a mock-up. Can you send me your thoughts? Okay, I send you my thoughts. I'll go edit it. Oh, can you move the image over here? Actually, can you use this image? Actually, I don't like that title. Can you change that title? And if anybody's ever made a website, this can sometimes like take like 6 months of just back and forth. I call it ping pong.
Yeah.
So he went through the ping pong process and created this really kick-ass cleaning website, which is his niche. He used to own a cleaning company, and now he designs cleaning websites. And one of the things is cleaning companies get the same question over and over, which people call them up, can you quote me for this job? So one of the things he did is he made a cleaning website where it quotes work right on the website, right? So there's no like third-party system or tool needed, and it weeds out all the tire kickers, because if somebody's priced a quote with you and calls you, they probably want the cleaning job. If they, so I said to him, I was like, you could do one of two things now. You could go then look for another client who needs a whole new custom solution, or you could recognize that now you have an asset called this really badass, like advantageous cleaning website, and you could find somebody else who needs this exact website, and the only thing you would change is the colors and their phone number and those kind of things. And you would charge the same amount of money, but the difference is you could install this one in an hour. In fact, you could take on all the risk. You could make an irresistible offer and say, hey, I noticed like you have this old website. I bet you mine will convert better than yours and weed out a lot of the tire kickers because it has a quoting function on here. I would love to just give you this website for 2 months. And if you like it, you can lease it from me for $199 a month for so as long as you like it and use it. And I'll love to just give it for you 60 days. If at the end of 60 days you tell me this website is not working for you, just tell me and I'll install your old one back. No harm, no foul. But if it does work and you want to keep paying me, leave it there. And now he's got both an irresistible offer, but from a delivery perspective, what has happened is how much work is it for him to go change color to this, logo to that, phone number to there, bingo bongo. Like he's done the website in 10 fucking minutes, right? And so a lot of times when we run into scaling issues, it's almost always a function. I shouldn't say almost always, but it's frequently a function of just doing too much custom work. And it usually just comes from we're good people. If somebody wants to help from you and they ask you, can you help me with this? It's natural instinct to want to say yes. But if you're not careful, you'll get into a situation where you're doing 80 hours a week of too many things that have too low margin and you can't hire people. And you want to be in the business where I'm just copy and pasting the website, changing a few details and getting up and running. And then you systematize that and put processes in that. So even though it's only 10 minutes of work, he can get a virtual assistant to do that 10 minutes of work, and he can have clear instructions that have him step up and do that. And I found when you do that, a 5 to 10 client custom agency is like 60 to 80 hours a week. A 50 client customization agency, you can do in like 10 hours a week, mostly just managing the team. Right. And it's a better experience for the clients, right? Because they don't want the custom website as much as we think. They don't want all the ping pong and back and forth and send me this image. They're like, just get it up and running and get my phone ring with people who aren't tire kickers who want to buy my cleaning services. And you can do that like relatively quickly using, that kind of system. So it's definitely a mindset shift. It probably took me about 10 years because I used to just love doing custom stuff. I always felt like my value was solving problems for people. And now I see it as the value is actually the assets we create. Like in this case, the cleaning website is the value, this system that's already been created. And so I'm showing up offering them the value. But what I'm not offering is like, hey, I'll create this whole custom, complicated back and forth mess for you. Rather, I'm saying I got this thing that already works. I'd like to plug and play it in your business. Would you let me? I'll give you an irresistible way to try that out and see if it works for you. When you do that, agencies scale with far less effort. And so that's a long-winded way of answering that question, but it's a deep question that I think a lot of people struggle with. And I've been in the situation where you can have 5 or 10 clients and you can't seem to break past it. You don't understand why. And it's actually just a structure, and it almost comes to like narrowing, starting the job finished, and you'll have a better agency and it'll be better for your clients and you'll do less.
I love it.